All right. Let me check if it actually worked. All right, cool. Twitch is working. I think YouTube is working. Yeah. Let me just mute these two. I think the comments come in through this. Do you see the comments on the right? Like
Yeah, I see your private chat and then comments. Yep.
okay, so I'm hoping let me see.
Yep, they
Anyone
come in.
say something in either of the chats. Evening from
They're
the
coming.
all right, cool. All right, cool. They are coming in. How's everyone doing? We're gonna start in a couple of minutes, but I figured we'd go live and hang out for a little bit for people to come in. Can everyone hear me fine? Oh, this is my friend Rishabh, by the way. He's gonna be teaching us some cool stuff today. Evening from the UK. AM Canelo says great. Cool.
Awesome. Awesome. So, how was your day today?
How was my day today? It was fine, I guess. It's like sunny, do which is odd. It's like super warm and sunny. Um,
That's good.
but it's gonna be like that until the end of the week. Then it gets cold. In your area, it's already cold, right?
Yeah, but we had a good weather today. I think it was like 15 degrees Celsius, which was good.
Oh. Someone says, "Do bald people use soap or shampoo on their heads?" I think that's spam. Can I remove that?
I think.
All right, cool. We can show. Oh, hold on. Oh, look, we can show comments on the screen too. I didn't know that.
Awesome.
This thing is pretty neat.
Mm-hmm. It's like super easy and
Even
idiot
Andrew says
friendly, I guess.
evening from the UK. Yeah. Wow, this is cool. All right. We got 5 more minutes before we dive into the exercise. Let me pull that off the screen. Yeah. Besides that, how's hi from England, UK, another person from the UK. How's oh, you recently we were talking about this, I think yesterday. You recently got sort of new role ish kind of.
Yep. Yep. Moved up the ladder. It's a different team. It's a bigger team. Um, for what I worked for in the past, and yeah, it's been exciting. A lot more tools,
Multi-cloud, right?
multi-cloud. We're Terraform enthusiasts. Um, I remember using CloudFormation, but yeah, Terraform is really neat, and that's what I'm kind of learning right now, and along with GCP, which is cool.
So do you have like more work in one of them, or is it like an even amount of work in all three of the providers?
It's even. It depends. Yeah, so every day is like different.
And it's Terraform for everything?
We are trying to do that at least for a few products. It's Terraform now, and we are moving all other different smaller teams to Terraform. Like in my older team, we used CloudFormation, so
Mhm.
we're moving to Terraform.
And is it like so I guess you work with like I guess different environments like
Hmm.
different I guess clients, right? Do they have multi-cloud or is it just like you guys have a bunch of different clients and they all have their different clouds?
It's yeah, no, I don't work with like client facing. It's more
Yeah.
of just supporting our internal teams that use different clouds.
Okay.
So yeah, the environments are different, but then again, it's like internal.
Okay, so now that you're working with all three, do you have a slight preference towards any one of them?
No, I don't know if you saw my Twitter. Like I posted today, can someone love Linux and Windows at the same time? And I'm kind of in the similar situation with cloud
Yeah.
too. Like, can someone love AWS, Azure, and GCP at the same time? I don't know. Um,
Well,
I'm leaning towards Azure.
okay.
Hmm.
It's a good answer.
Hmm.
I'm a little biased. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's hard. It's just hard to like I don't know how you keep up with all of them. Just like even me keeping up with Azure is such a I can't. Like I've given up on
yeah,
like keeping up, right? I
hmm
can't imagine having to like know skills in all three of
yeah.
them.
It's a bit difficult, and I think yeah, for me especially, it's just learning it to some extent, and then we do have like subject matter experts that are like that we can ask advice for.
Mhm.
But yeah, the basic understanding of all three clouds is kind of a must going forward. Um, but yeah, no, I
Cool.
think I'll lean towards Azure for now.
Neat. Yeah, there's a lot of work in that one. But yeah, I don't know. Everyone talks about I think people are starting to talk about multi-cloud now in the way that we were talking about serverless like a couple of years ago.
Hmm.
And it's like everyone wants to do it and I for one like I don't know, I'm cool with just like working in Azure until like I guess I have to absolutely adopt something
Yeah.
else. But I don't know because like where I worked previously, they had some Google Cloud stuff, and then
Hmm.
the majority in Azure, and it was just a pain to like keep up with them. And I guess if it was done right from the beginning, it might have been different. But
Hmm.
it's like kind of like you go in and like everything's kind of like all over the place. Nothing makes sense. So it's like you're feeling just like these. There's a hole here, water's coming through the boat, and then you gotta like fix it, and then
Yeah.
there's another hole over there, right? That's what it felt to me.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't know. I guess it's not. It's good experience. Are you getting like in depth with all of them, or it's kind of like high level with like
Well,
all of them?
right now they have just told me to learn
Okay.
all three of them, and I haven't been responsible for any of the like other projects that we have for Azure and GCP.
Hmm.
Right now, I'm just touching AWS, given my past experience. But yeah, I think the end goal is to kind of help smaller teams to decide like the infrastructure kind of situation, depending on what CSP they're using.
Yeah. Someone says here. Maybe good to know a little AWS, Google, and Azure if another cloud tech is developed. Maybe good to have basic understanding. Well, I think you know what we need to work on is sort of some sort of curriculum or something, a list even of like what's the stuff that we need to know that has nothing to do with any cloud platform, right?
Hmm.
And then from there, like you would just adopt different like terms and different like you know, in
Yeah.
it's Azure Functions versus Lambda or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, but I think we're just too focused on oh go get you know go get AZ 900, go get AZ 104, go get AWS CDA, you know, instead of like you know there's a first step before all of that. It would make our
Hmm.
lives a lot like easier.
Yeah. I think
Um,
something similar is like with CompTIA Cloud Plus. I don't know if that's a thing, but I
uh,
have heard something.
Someone just said that
Yeah.
CompTIA Cloud Plus. I think,
Yeah.
but like I think CompTIA gets like bad rep these days. I think like no, I don't hear anyone wanting to take any of those certifications anymore.
True. I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings about it,
Yeah.
especially here in Canada. I don't know about states.
I've never heard anyone say I'm gonna get Cloud Plus. Like everyone goes straight to like the AWS, the
Oh,
Azure ones,
true,
and
true. I think they're more valuable. Like if you go to just Azure or AWS or GCP. So it's, and I think CompTIA needs to like ramp up their game in regards to certifications, and they're expensive. They're expensive as you compare it to
really,
Azure,
are they more expensive?
AWS.
They
Yeah,
cost
they're more
more.
expensive. Hmm.
So what is I think an Azure one's like 150. I
Yeah,
honestly, and what does it come to? You, like
165.
200?
I don't know really. Um,
You know, maybe they got comfortable because everyone used to want to take like the A plus and the Network plus and all those ones. And then
true.
these cloud vendors came and like kind of disrupted the certification game for them, so they couldn't keep up. Maybe it's something
Mhm.
like that.
I could be wrong.
Security Plus was $400. Oh my goodness.
Cloud Plus is 329.
Oh my goodness.
That's a lot of money.
That is
Mhm.
especially if you're a beginner and you're like I want to learn and you're like would I take the certification that's $150 or would I take the one that's $320?
Yeah, I don't know. And as I said, like AWS or Azure, so it would pay more, like in terms of return on investment. They have more value on the resume as compared to like CompTIA's Cloud Plus.
Yeah, definitely. Wow.
Mhm.
So, someone says probably in most places I end up they have security issues waiting to kill the infrastructure. So knowing basic security network cloud is pretty important. Security is one of those things that I have disregarded completely in in a bad way because it's one of those fields where it's like it's a field on its own, like it's a specialty
Mhm.
all on its own. Where I just think of it like I'm gonna let the experts handle that.
Yeah,
Yeah, this person is right. We should have a basic understanding
and I
of all
think
that
with
stuff.
enterprises, it's like they don't. I don't know about now, but in the past, it was like they don't pay attention until they are like breached,
Yeah,
and that's
yeah.
when they're like, "Oh, we need security folks." And
Well, you'd be surprised that like how many of these companies still have because my experience now is just like smaller to mid-sized companies. How many of them are just like password 123 or my password's on this sticky note or like oh let me forward you this spam is the spam like oh I clicked on it. This stuff like that like that is
yeah,
like so heavily still a thing in our field and we take it for granted in a way.
yeah, and I think then there's another level of it is the cloud security because now you have secrets and all those kind of stuff, um, which people are not aware. Like it's just not passwords anymore, right?
Yeah, that too. And
Mm-hmm.
like here's the thing. I worked on getting like MFA rolled out for this company, and
Mm-hmm.
like everyone was so against it. Like I don't want to have a text message sent to me every time I log in. Blah 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 blah. So I think security is one of those things where it's like not only do you have to work with like the team, like the team that's going to pay you or like the leadership team or
Yeah.
whatever, but it's also like you have to convince all these other people that they have to change the way they're doing things.
Mm-hmm. True.
So it's like it feels like a hassle. But then again, if you get breached and then you're like millions of dollars out, like what's the point of that?
Yeah.
Someone says here, the cloud adoption framework is a good thing to look at. Thomas Maurer, cloud adoption framework, found that very interesting. Yeah, that's a good thing to mention. That's like a white paper that all the clouds have. I think they all name them differently. Like, what's the
Mm-hmm.
AWS one, or is it cloud adoption? Well architected framework. I
Yeah.
think
Well,
that's
well
the AWS
architected
one.
framework.
I don't know what the Google one is, but the Azure one is the CAF. Uh, but yeah. All right. Anyway, so we're 6:06. We can get started with today's exercise, but this is a good conversation. We should start like a podcast or something.
For sure. I'll be down.
All right. So today we're looking at your resume API thing, which you
Mm-hmm.
did back in serverless September,
Yep.
which I thought was like fantastic. So I figured we'd do a little deep dive of how you actually went through it. And you've made some changes since you've published the actual tutorial, right?
Yeah. Just how the deployment works is I use the Azure Functions VS Code extension, which is way easier to do than the CLI.
All right, let me show your screen. Which one is it? This one? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so everyone, can you see Rishab's screen now? Someone say yes, please. So, what's cool is like for the next Azure Functions University lesson, like the homework, we're gonna
Mm-hmm.
just build off of your example. So we're gonna, I think, I have to write it tonight, but I think we're going to like make them pull the file, like the JSON file, from the like blob storage instead of having it actually inside of the code or anything like that.
Nice.
Um, yeah. So if anyone's interested in that, that'll be I think Wednesday or something. But yeah, cool. Okay, so they can see the screen. Let's I mean, it's all yours.
Awesome. Well, yeah. So this is really cool for the extension itself.
It does a lot
Is
for you, right?
yeah, it does a lot of you, like a lot for you, and then you have to type nothing basically. Like I think I have
Yeah.
to type 4 commands for this if I had to build it locally instead of using the portal itself.
Oh, like you were
Um,
using the CLI before.
yeah, I was using the CLI before.
Hmm.
So yeah, basically I created a empty directory on my desktop, and I'm
Hmm.
just going to use JavaScript as my language here,
Okay.
and then use HTTP trigger um, as the trigger for triggering the function. A
Hmm.
lot of trigger, uh, and name it resume API. Just for this tutorial purpose, and also I think you need to have your resume API as like anonymous access
Yeah.
because public can access it.
Yeah. You want
Um,
everyone to be able to get to it.
mhm. Yep. So I'll wait for that to be built, and so it generates the boilerplate for the HTTP triggered
Hmm.
kind of function, and right now it just gives us back like a generic response with your name in the body if you pass it as an argument
Hmm.
to your request,
Yeah.
which we can get rid of. So you don't need any of this. And I'll be really thrilled to see like how you guys do it with the blob storage because that
Yeah.
would make, I don't know if it'll make it faster, but it will make sense. Um, because then you can just change your file in the blob storage. But for now, I have like I use this. It's a resume schema. We can link it down below somewhere in the stream. But yeah, basically it's just a boilerplate resume in JSON. And I have some info already filled in.
So for that schema, because I looked at that when I was writing the
Mm-hmm.
homework lesson for last like 2 weeks ago or whatever.
Yep.
Do they recommend you just use whatever fields you want, or like you can kind of adapt it to however you want it, or are there certain fields that you have to actually have filled in?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah, I
Um,
couldn't find that answer either.
and I totally use whatever I feel like
Yeah,
is more
because there's a lot
appropriate.
in there
Yeah, like
for like a resume.
especially for yeah, especially for like address and something like that. I think it has street and stuff like that, and I'm not comfortable sharing that.
Right.
But yeah,
Cool.
there's just a lot of detail that boilerplate. But yeah, so basically, um, it just has the basics for now. I didn't
Hmm.
include like the entire JSON document that has like skills and experience and stuff.
Right.
And instead of, so since we changed the um, context here, we will change the response to just return the JSON data.
Hmm.
So basically, it's nothing fancy right now. That like, and please post your questions in the chat if something doesn't make sense. But it's pretty straightforward. We just change the context to JSON, and then we are returning the JSON in the body.
Well, it's because you use JavaScript for this, so it makes it like so easy to work with. With
Mm-hmm.
the where Whereas I was building like the .NET example, there's a couple of extra steps, but it's just,
Yeah,
it's interesting to see how, I guess, obviously certain languages have like certain things that they're better at. Like JavaScript, you basically just
sure.
erase the body and then change the return object, and that's like pretty much it.
Yeah.
Um, is this written in PowerShell? Shout out to the 100 Days of Cloud. This is actually what's that other? It's not PowerShell. The Visual Basic.
Oh
Have you
yeah.
ever used
Visual
Visual
Basic.
Basic?
No.
That's I did a little bit of that back when I was in high school. It was terrible. So I had a question for you before we even like dived into this.
Mhm.
So you said you were using the CLI to create. Like, is that like your first experience with developing functions locally? Has it always been with like the CLI?
Yeah, yeah. That was my first experience. I was
So
developing.
you just now switched over to the to Visual Code. Were you still using Visual Code like for the code and stuff?
Oh yeah, I was using Visual Code. I didn't know until I think I saw um, you in the serverless September using the extension. I'm like,
Interesting.
is there an extension? Like,
Yeah.
I'm missing out on a lot of stuff then.
This is good
um,
feedback for like the functions team that should make it known a little bit more, or
mhm.
maybe it is out there. I don't. But yeah, using the extensions makes everything like it's just like you did like 4 clicks, maybe three,
Yeah.
3 or 4. And I know with .NET, I think there's an extra one for like the namespace and one for something else. I think, but besides that, it's relatively straightforward to get it started. But it's good to hear from like your beginner perspective. Like
Hmm.
this one is a lot like friendlier than using the actual CLI. I was gonna
Yeah.
ask you to show us at the beginning what you're actually. Do you have it published already, like at a URL? Like not executing this one, but like
Oh no.
yeah.
But yeah, I
I thought
think I should
yeah,
have
I
the
thought you
old
had
one.
it on your website slash or like .com/resume.
Yeah, the old one. Let me just get the URL. I don't remember the URL for that. I think it's reshipcloud.com.
That 66 says hi from England. We got a lot of people from England. That's 3 people so far. Hello to England.
Interesting. What time it is in England?
I don't know. Someone tell us. Someone tell us what time.
Okay, so I think it's this. I don't have an SSL, so yeah. So basically, this is what you get, and you can always like curl it. We'll get the same response, and this is kind of our goal here to just get a response back with our details.
Okay, so you have that's your site slash. Oh yes, yeah. So like you can mention someone could hop in the terminal and just
Hmm.
curl. Cool. All right, so let's go back to Visual Studio. I mean Visual Code,
Hmm.
and so you've added some JSON. You changed
Oh.
the return to that JSON data, and now like what's the next step?
So by default, um, there's this, um, and I found out while I was doing my old one, is
Mm-hmm.
that it forwards it to, I think it's whatever your URL is, and then slash API slash resume.
Mm-hmm.
So it has a slash API in it. I know I had some questions to Jeff in regards to setting up proxies and stuff like that.
Right.
And yeah, I think I asked you too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I found someone doing it like a different way to um, help with that is to modify the host.json file, and like you include the route prefix and you just leave it blank. Um, so basically, you add an extension for route prefix and you leave it blank,
Okay.
which just gets rid of that slash API in
API.
your, yeah.
Yeah.
So like otherwise, it used to be this, uh, which is I I don't want slash API. I just
Yeah.
want slash resume to be my endpoint. But yeah, that's just an extra step. And if someone else has a smarter way of doing this, please let me know.
I think that's like the most straightforward way.
Mhm.
Because I know you had asked me about like proxies, and then I didn't even know it was a thing. Like my whole exposure to that was like API management. But
Yeah,
like API management seems like such a not necessarily a big thing, but like for what you were trying to do, it just like seemed like unnecessary. So
yeah.
this approach that you're taking right now is, I think, I don't see a better one. It's easy and it gets the job
Mhm.
done. I will say that if anyone's interested, the Azure Functions has an unofficial Discord, and I know like Jeff Holland, who's on the Azure Functions team at Microsoft, like constantly answering questions.
Mhm.
Um, so I'll find the link and I'll put it in the chat if anyone wants to join there. But it's great. I don't necessarily ask a bunch of questions there, but I'm always reading the answers because there's a bunch of like interesting scenarios that, and then I'm like, huh, I would have never thought about that.
Yeah, and I think it has like grown a lot, and they're just like really skilled people ready to help you.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's
Mhm.
like since it's like specific to Azure Functions,
Yeah,
you'll get really specific answers as well. Let me
true.
get edit invite. Was Discord down for you today?
No, it's
No, it
working
was
fine for me.
this morning. It was for me. Let me see. Never. All right.
Okay. And thanks to Mark, I love the Azure function.
Oh, you added the little.
Yeah.
I have to do that too. The thing is so neat. He's so talented when it comes to the 8-bit
hmm
the art. All right. So now, what's the next step?
So I'm just gonna start the function and see if it works locally. Um, okay. So I don't have that
It,
included in my path, I think.
isn't it func host start?
I thought it said func start. I could be wrong. Yeah, it's func start.
That was
It's
func
just
host
my
start.
terminal
Huh.
app. So this should technically work. Cool. So we are getting the details that we have there um, in our Java or index.js
Hmm.
as a response back to our request. And yeah, the cool thing about doing this locally is that you can just see it, like see everything in action.
And
So
yeah.
yeah,
So
the terminal.
is this the first function that you've? Is this your first exposure to Azure Functions in
hmm
terms of you getting like hands on?
It is.
Okay. So how before you actually worked on this, how did you feel? Like, what was your impression of Azure Functions?
Um, I started with like simple, the one that is generated automatically, the
Mm-hmm.
HTTP trigger one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was really good. Based, I don't want to start a war, but I have tried building this on AWS Lambda,
Okay.
and it was not as like
Intuitive. Yeah.
easy. Yeah,
Yeah.
and integrated too. Like you need to add an API gateway to it
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. So it's way easier and like it's in one place. Like you don't need to like integrate stuff.
Okay.
Especially with the extension, you don't have to do basically anything. It prompts you with the responses that are necessary and the configurations that are necessary to get you started, and
Right.
then you can just go ahead and make it complex down the road.
What was the hardest thing to like figure out, I guess, or maybe to understand, or like what was like a concept that you thought was
I
difficult,
think
and
it
then
was
once
the
you got on
proxy.
the
Yeah,
proxy
I
thing?
couldn't make sense of the proxy thing till this date, and then because I figured it out the other way
Yeah.
of editing the host.json, I just stick to that for now.
Okay. And have you ever created a function in the portal, or this was like just first
No,
time
I
out
have
there?
never created. Yeah, this was my first time, and I used CLI instead of the portal.
Interesting. You've tried any other triggers or bindings or anything?
No, I was intrigued to try the time one. I think there is a time based
The
trigger.
timer trigger, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I
Cool.
haven't. hmm
It's nice to know. I played around with Lambda like a week ago because I had this idea for a video where it's like I create the same serverless function in the three
hmm
different clouds and compare the experience. And I was just, I mean, obviously I haven't opened up my AWS console in like years.
hmm
So first of all, I was lost there. But then also like the Lambda console, you're right. There was like you had to attach an API, like
Yeah.
the gateway thingy, and then I didn't know where like to test the code or anything like that. Um, but Google Cloud, what's it called? Cloud Functions,
Cloud
I think.
function.
Have you ever
Yeah.
created one of those?
No, not yet.
It was also not as intuitive. But then again, I have a bias, so my opinion may not be like the fairest one out there. But I do think Azure Functions has something um,
hmm
going for them in terms of like their integration with like Visual Code. Obviously, another Microsoft thing, so it
Yeah.
works well. Um, but cool, pretty cool. Do we have any comments? Someone says cloud functions really nice in Firebase. I don't think I've played around with Firebase since like 2013 12 maybe
I haven't played with Firebase at all,
at all.
to be honest. Mhm.
Yeah, they had a thing going for them, and then like all these clouds kind of like came up and had their own thing. So, um, someone says thanks for the content. Oh, thank you. Any other questions, comments? Oh, we can go back to like dual screen here. This is cool. And then obviously we could also say if Risha wanted to, have you deployed straight from Visual Studio? Visual Studio, Visual Cloud. I've been using Visual Code. I've been using Visual Studio lately, so I keep confusing the names. Have you deployed a function straight from here?
No, I use CLI again to deploy it. But
Really?
is there a way to deploy it? Please
Yeah,
tell me.
if you click on there and then you go to your I think it's local project.
Yep.
Maybe no, actually.
So this maybe deploy the
Yeah.
function app.
The little click that one.
Oh, nice. Create
And
new
then
function app.
yeah, you can do like the basic one or the more advanced settings.
Oh, did I miss a step? Oh, I'm good.
You're good.
Oh, choose 10. Oh, awesome. Google East US. Oh, it creates the resource group and the storage account.
Yeah, and
That is
depending on which binding you're using, like there'll be certain things that you have to configure. Like if you use Cosmos DB, you need to like have a certain account and everything assigned. But yeah, this will like and it'll give you like the output, like, hey, you can go check your thing right now.
Yeah.
So you basically create something locally and deploy it entirely inside of Visual Code.
No, it's really good.
Yeah, so the integration is like it's hard to beat, man. The work they're putting into making it easy to work locally is like it's an experience that's hard to beat. But yeah, this will take like a few minutes, but let's check the chat. Cloud Elf says, hey y'all. You're late, man. We've been on for like half an hour. Just someone says, I have so many questions, but don't know where to start. Ask anything. So your programming experience is like primarily just JavaScript at the moment. Is that what you're focusing on?
Yeah, it's JavaScript basically, and that's also like it's not that great. Like I'm not so good with JavaScript too.
Do
It's just that
you
I use it for some personal projects and sites every now and then.
so when you not attack, when you try to build something, what happened? Oh, npm.
The term NPM is not recognized. Why?
Oh, good old npm.
I was having so many issues yesterday with it. And
I saw your tweet about this.
Yeah, and then Catalan posted a way to like downgrade or run different versions of npm using nvm.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, God, should use this.
Does it let you deploy it anyway?
Let's try again. Oh, did it deploy? I can check it here, right? Yeah. Does it deploy it?
Someone says NVM. Joshua S says NVM is your friend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Can someone enlighten me? What is NVM? This is a world that's foreign to me.
It's
what are you?
Node version manager.
Oh.
So you can have, I think, different versions of Node running. Like in my case, Azure Functions doesn't support 14 yet,
Mm-hmm.
and in order to like create or at least test the function locally, you need to have like npm version 12 something. And I think that's what NVM does for you.
Interesting. Cool. Yeah, everyone just said Node version manager. Okay, thanks. Someone says, "What are you using for the double chat and comments?" Yes, this is StreamYard. This is fantastic. Mark Deuker, who's doing Azure Functions University with me, introduced me to this, and it's fantastic. I think it's best for me to ask questions when I've watched more of your videos, as I am a university graduate trying to decide what I want to do as a job. Oh my goodness. Do you remember those days trying to decide what you wanted to do for a living?
Oh yeah.
I still trying to figure that out.
Same here.
Yeah. It's funny cuz like you would think that if you work in a field or in something, like you see someone working in a field for years or what, and you kind of think that they're set on it, but in reality, like my example is like I don't know. Like you just said, like I don't know. It's
Yeah,
like we're all still trying to like figure stuff out.
that's good. Like we should try everything.
Yeah, definitely. If you want to, some people may be set, but yeah, like
True.
try.
True.
That's a good thing about that cloud is like you do have different avenues. Like if you want to like be more infrastructure focused, more security focused, more development focused, that thing you do have the opportunities in such like an up and coming like fast paced field.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
But
did you
yeah,
figure out
it's.
your issue?
I I'm checking my portal to see because it says it's deployed, like in the
Oh,
in
you're
my
right. Yeah.
subscription, and I'm just checking on my other screen if it has deployed.
Nothing.
No. It, yeah, it did not deploy. It did
Uh,
create the
did it create all the resources except it just didn't
the
deploy the
resource
app?
group. Yeah.
I mean, you could always try deploying it again to that same app that.
Deploy. And let's click deploy anyway this time and see.
Someone says the great part is choosing one path. Wait, the great part in choosing one path isn't the end all. You keep changing your mind because this life is about growing and adapting after all. Wow, we're getting philosophical in here.
Mm-hmm.
Did it give you any? Oh, it's still deploying. No, it's still giving you an error.
It's still deploying. Oh,
What?
this is completed.
All right, so if you go to the portal now, actually, wait, what? Yeah, there you go.
See the output. See. Yeah.
Yeah, it did work.
Yeah.
All right. Even though you had an error, it still worked out. So, I guess long story short, without all the interruptions, you probably could have gotten that done in like what 10 minutes or so.
Yep,
Not even.
10 to 15 minutes on Windows.
Cool.
I don't know.
Someone
But
says,
yeah.
"Wait, do the deploy command in CMD, not PowerShell." Oh, but we deployed it already.
Yeah, it's already deployed, but
Oh well. Well, for next time when you try to do this and you get that error, give that a shot. Make sure you're not in PowerShell
yeah.
terminal.
And I think I'll update my article to use the VS Code extension instead of the CLI.
Yeah. Need to use PowerShell. LOL. No. But anyway, let's switch back to full screen. Does anyone have any questions? What Google cert are you studying for now, or did you already take it? I can't keep up with you.
No, no, I'm still studying. It's the Associate Cloud Engineer. So like the
How hard is it
beginner.
compared to like what's the equivalent to like AWS and Azure?
I want to say Associate Solutions are like Solutions Architect Associate, and then 104 maybe. But I could be wrong. Um, but yeah, for AWS, I think it's Solutions Architect Associate.
Yeah, then it would be if it's that one in AWS, it would be the 104
Mm-hmm.
in in Azure.
Azure,
Cool.
yeah.
Are you like so you just did so hold on. You did Terraform like a month ago or something.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're doing this Google one. And then are you gonna keep going or are you gonna take a break?
No, I think I'll keep going. I did the DP, the data fundamentals, like
Ah, that's right, you
2
did that one
weeks
too.
ago. Yeah,
How
it
was that?
was pretty good. But I don't know. I want to say this that the exam structure is like Azure has its best for Azure. Like I've
What do you
given
mean by that?
AWS, like the questions itself
Hmm.
and just the structure of how the questions are asked. They're not just multiple choice. You have like fill in blanks and match the following. It like
Okay.
it is interesting. Like I get bored on an AWS exam.
Yeah.
Like I lose interest after certain questions.
Yeah, I think what they like AWS, no, not AWS. Azure did a lot of work with like revamping
Mm,
their certifications this year. So I think a
yeah.
lot of that is thanks to all those changes that they made. And I think they're trying to genuinely make certifications valuable in terms of like we want to you to actually know how to handle these real life scenarios and not just
Hmm.
multiple choice kind of things, which is great. Um do you but also like the way that you study for certifications, like you in particular is um like I think the right way to do it because you're working hands on with this stuff and you get
True.
certifications for like the things that you need to know and like you're working on. Like now you're doing multi-cloud and you're introduced to Google, so you're like and in
Hmm.
Terraform, so you're learning that stuff. Versus like just like getting certifications like one after the other and
Yeah.
having like 30 certifications.
Yeah. No, I was going to stop like after Terraform, if I remember this correctly,
Yeah,
and
I
like
think
that was
you told
my
me that.
yeah, that was my like end goal for 2020. But then yeah, the new team, they're like, yo, we're using GCP, we're using Azure, and then I had to do some like SQL stuff, and that's why like I'm like, okay, I have a free voucher,
SQL.
I should go and take data fundamentals. And I didn't study like a lot, and I have been working with like SQL for like 2 years now. Just the basic concepts and stuff like that. Not something like I'm not a database developer or database
Mm-hmm.
administrator, but yeah, I've had some experience. And yeah, as you said, like if you're doing it in real life, it is easy to take the exam.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because almost you're not like necessarily sitting down and just reading theory.
Hmm.
You're kind of just like,
True.
oh, I saw this at work. Like I understand this concept a little better,
Yeah.
right? That I think that's, but then again, I guess that's an unfair thing to say for people who like aren't working in the field but want to break into the field. I don't know. It's like this chicken and egg kind of thing where it's like, yeah, certs are valuable, but not, but yeah, not, but that
Yeah. I
overall,
think someone who's breaking into like the cloud industry, they should just take the ones that are like really hold value in the market. Like I know solutions architect hands down is like really considered to be like the core certificate when someone is looking for like a cloud role in
yeah,
AWS,
yeah,
especially in Canada. Um, but yeah, and after that they should just like job hunt and do the rest like after you are in the job itself. Um, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's I don't know. I, people always ask me for that, like, and like they get surprised when they hear like, oh, I have like an AWS cert that I'm pretty sure is expired, and I have like the AZ fundamentals, and that's
Hmm.
like it. And like I was trying to study for like the 303, and then I kind of just stopped. Because there's kind of like that conversation where it's like cloud education equals like cloud certifications, where I don't necessarily agree with that. So that's why you end up having people who get like tons and tons of certs for no reason.
Hmm.
And then they get hired and they're like, well, why can't you do anything? Well, it's like all you did was study theory. So
True. True. Yeah,
yeah.
and I think people like everyone is in a different circumstance. Like for me, I just did I think cloud practitioner um before switching, like when I was
Mhm.
in help desk, and I think I focused more on like doing projects and like engaging with the team itself
Yeah.
at work, like the cloud team, and that played a huge role rather than just going ahead and doing solutions architect and then applying for the job internally.
Yeah, you and
Um,
I have somewhat of a similar story
mhm.
getting into cloud roles. So you did how long ago were you in help desk?
18 months.
Okay, so you're relatively new until to like a year and a half ish
Hmm.
to your cloud role. And before help desk, what were you doing?
Nothing. I was
R-
I was working at a gas station and I was delivering
Wow.
pizzas.
That's a relatively not short, but like you didn't have to wait like years and years to get
True,
your like
true.
foot in the door.
Hmm.
So to land your help desk role, what was like what was the thing that helped you land it?
I was studying like there's this course here at my college. It's called Computer Systems Technician. It's
Mhm.
like a 2 year diploma, but it's focused on hardware support. So and on top of that, I know my company, like where I work right now, they were asking for like CompTIA A plus
Yeah, A
or
plus.
something similar to that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I had my internship here, and then they just kind of offered me like product support role.
Mhm.
I had my internship in help desk, but then like I was supposed to support like the software side of things,
Right.
which were easier, I guess. Then it was just the matter of learning the software itself and then
Right.
just support the customers. But yeah, that's how I got in. And then I was not familiar with cloud until I got into my like product support role.
Mhm.
And then I just met few people who were working in cloud slash DevOps kind of role. They had a team. Um, and I remember this. They had an event, like the AWS event in Toronto,
Uh-huh.
and one of the guys from that team couldn't go, but they already had reservations for a hotel and like the
Yeah,
commute
yeah.
itself. And they asked me, they're like, "Are you interested in going?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And that's how like everything started. I'm like, there are like
Wow.
thousands of people here.
Kind of out of
And
luck. Just like good luck.
yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that's how it started. Like I was seeing 2,000 people in like a huge theater who were all like mad about AWS or crazy about AWS, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, this is a whole new world to me. But yeah,
Interesting. So, wow. Yeah, someone says here fast mover, well done. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely the way that like that happened to me too. It's like I was help desk and we had like time to like a couple hours each week if we finished our work for
hmm
like fast. We had time each week to kind of just be on any team. And I was really only like friends with the team with the infrastructure team and they were doing some stuff with like AWS. One of the big data offerings, I can't remember which one. Um and then they were just like, yeah, like this is AWS and I had like no idea. I didn't even have
hmm
interest in it either. And I wasn't even looking into it or anything until they told me. And after hanging out with them for like, a couple hours for a few months, one of them was just like, why don't you look into like an AWS certification? Because they had all
hmm
gotten them for the role they do. And then I asked my boss, and they're like, yeah, sure, you can get a certification, but like don't expect to like get any hands on here.
yeah,
But the team was cool. Like they would actually let me like
hmm
watch them do the stuff. But yeah, it kind of like just fell into it really.
no, that's really good.
Yeah. Someone says, well done, Rishabh. Yeah, well done, Rishabh. All right.
Thank you.
We've gone for 50 minutes. Wow. But I feel like we can end it here. This was a nice little quick session. For everyone in who's watching still, if you're interested in more Azure Functions stuff, I have another stream coming up on Wednesday. We're talking about the blob trigger input bindings, output bindings. We have like a bunch of examples. I've been writing the lessons all yesterday and today for that. So if you're interested, that's going to be, I think, at 5 Eastern on Wednesday. Like be about an hour long. I'll probably have like a summary of that the following week after that. And then like the Spanish versions at some point as well. But yeah, besides that, Rishabh, what's your oh, you have your username, your Twitter, Rishabh K7. Everyone make sure to go follow him. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Any final words?
No.
No.
Let's keep on learning, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm really looking forward to the Azure Function University demos and projects. But yeah, I'll surely try out my resume API in .NET. I think you did it in .NET, right?
Yeah, I did, and then we're just gonna try like build off of it. You should try like if you want like to author and do like a full stream with like Mark or myself. You can like contribute to the repo, and then we'll schedule a stream.
For sure.
And that goes for like anyone else who's interested in the chat. All right, I'm gonna end it here. I'll see y'all when I see you. All right.